Really? You make everything wet on this set. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Oops.
Otherwise, it's a bit conversational, but there are some points to hit.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, what was that? What, am I rolling? I am. What was that?
Nothing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, bye-bye.
Roll the opening!
Hello!
Welcome back to
What's Safeword?
I'm Am.
I'm Mr. Christopher.
And today...
We're coming out as Kinky.
Come in!
Out.
On you!
Oh.
Ooh.
You are kinky.
Oh. And we wanted to have this conversation because we get questions all the time from people asking, how do I come out as kinky? Can you make a video that I can show my partner that tells him about kinks? Can you destigmatize stuff so that I don't feel like I'm weird? And first of all, we have chains here, so I didn't need to.
Would you leave my chains alone?
Don't go changing for your partner, just be you. And today's episode is sponsored by the Pure Dating app, so if you want some more information about that, we'll get to it eventually. But today, we're just here to destigmatize, educate, and hopefully intro kink to anyone that's being shown this by their partner, because I feel like that'll be something that comes from this episode.
So are we going to tell our origin stories?
Yes, it was a dark, stormy night. Both of my parents were coming home from the opera, and then someone jumped out from an alleyway and shot them, and then I became kinky, you know?
I don't know if I meant...
I'm Batman! But first, let's talk about how kinks even work. Why are people kinky? Where does it come from? Who's kinky? And how many people do you think in the world are kinky?
Everyone. I think everyone's kinky to a degree, whether they know it or not.
Everybody's into something sexually, but I think that everyone has those interests, and it's just a matter of perspective, contextualization, and of course it's all just conjecture. It's literally how you look at sex. But first, I feel like we should describe what kink is. For any of the newcomers here, or people that just need a refresher, what is kinky? Us. Hi.
I think kinky is anything outside the social norm and not just missionary.
Yeah, anything that's not PIV or penis and vagina sex. There's so much more sex that exists out there, and everybody kind of has their own perspective around it. So it is very personal, but at the same time, everyone's just a little bit kinky.
But if you do fuck a missionary, that's kinky.
Yes. On the whole, kinks are generally bondage, fisting, domination, leather, BDSM.
Which they are.
But there are so many different shades of gray within the kink spectrum, more than 50.
Tickling your ass with a feather.
Or...
Isn't it lovely weather?
That's... Rhyming? Rhyming is a kink.
Rhyming's a kink. And being kinky was even taken out of the DSM as a disorder.
Which stands for the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Pretty much saying that kinky people aren't a problem so long as what they're into is not causing them duress, harm, or stress outside of, normal life. So if you're being shown this video as a partner or a parent or a friend, good for you for listening and being open to the fact. And if you're showing this to someone, we got your facts here to help you normalize that what you're into is not that bad, because being kinky does actually show to have better relationships in the long run. Kinksters are not only better at communicating, because we literally do it before doing any sort of sexy acts, but we also are really good at consent. Can I hit you?
No. They're also good at compersion.
And compersion is literally the opposite of jealousy. So if you're able to get around that, have conversations, talk about consent, and talk about your wants and needs in this really healthy way, you actually have a better relationship. Who knew?
Because kink is usually all about trust, and the more you build that trust, the closer you become.
Oh. Can I hit you now?
Sure. Yay!
And one really good thing about, and a good conversation to have about consent is, it can change throughout your relationship. It can be given at any point, and it can also be taken back, which is something you can actually learn from Kinksters. Also, kinky people are way more open to trying new things. Turns out, because we're always very nerdy in some way or just more adventurous, Kinksters are always going to be more open to changes or different things that they try throughout their life, not just in the bedroom.
Is your sex life dull? Is it listless? Try kink!
Wait, is this an infomercial?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And if you buy today, you'll get not just one, but 2 tubs of lube.
And we'll throw in a free paddle.
These deals just keep slapping. And if you subscribe now, we'll even give you your very own
butt plug.
Butt plug! While pieces by Talkspace and other websites like Psychology Today saying that Kinksters just do things better.
And Kinksters had higher senses of well-being in their general life.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
We're very well-being.
My being as well.
All well.
That ends well.
Being.
They're not better at talking or being on camera, but they are better in general, like happier.
We're so happy. We're so happy.
And contrary to the two weirdos you see right here, Kinksters are less neurotic, according to these studies.
Well.
They're also better at rejection, okay? Because we go through that kind of stuff a lot when we talk about things we're into.
Who rejects you?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, God. Which brings us to the next part of the conversation. Kink isn't always about sex.
Yeah, if you're coming out as kinky, I think it's important to talk about that kink doesn't even need to be sexual. Asexual people exist in the kinky spectrum, and plenty of kinks don't actually involve penetration or ejaculation at all.
Tickling.
Kink can also be a wonderful form of just being able to relax, get out of your head. Things like puppy play or other role play can be fun and wrestly and just good cathartic sorts of energy wasters.
And some kinks, like impact play, cause endorphins to rush through your body, making you feel high and euphoric.
And truthfully, being kinky is just something that makes you more interesting.
Fascinating, really.
Not the fascinating thing again. Oh my God, not this.
No, vanilla people have questions and they want answers because they're secretly kinky.
Probably. So we're happy to answer those if you have questions down below. But how do you come out as kinky? Maybe you're single or in a relationship or just want to come out as kinky to your friends? Let's talk about that.
And sometimes coming out as kinky is your second coming out after figuring out your identity.
And actually, one of the very first studies goes back all the way to 1977 by Wernberg. From research in the other sexual minorities, it was found that constructing a sexual identity may be complicated, but it evolves over time. Being kinky is something that changes over time and you figure out who you are. So, welcome. Congratulations for getting to this step, and I hope that this is a safe space where you can ask questions and hopefully learn in the process. Now, if you're single and ready to mingle, or just find other Kinksters in your area to play with, what can you do?
Go online, research. You can find it through Facebook groups. You can find it through local bars and events going on, Twitter. There's lots of online resources.
And if you're literally single and ready to mingle, dating apps. There's so many apps. In fact, today's sponsor, Pure, might just be the perfect place for you. Now, Pure, the dating app, is sponsoring today's episode, and it is this place where you can go online, available both on Android and Apple, and it is an app where you have exactly an hour to talk to someone once you have matched and found them, to go back and forth, see if you're interested in some fun and play, and pick up, sexy times, in a very non-judgmental space that's easy to move on from. Without having that stigma in place, it's much easier to come out as whatever you're into with someone. But Pure itself is a sex-positive dating app where you can openly express and communicate your desires, boundaries, and intentions in an honest and judgmental-free way. And it's all done very quick and easy. So you literally put out a little ad for yourself in your local community. You put out like a one-liner, what you're looking for. I think I said something like, looking for a coffee date and showing someone the ropes. Literally.
So it's like a little billboard.
Yeah, and then you put out a few photos. And what's really interesting is they don't allow nudes there. And I accidentally almost uploaded a nude and it said, too much skin, which I appreciated because I didn't mean to put that one up there.
Yeah. But then you can see the nudes in the private profile.
Yeah, and then you can send photos as you're talking with someone in that limited time. And again, you can make them self-destruct. And Pure actively seeks to further the conversation surrounding sex, mental health, body positivity, and just promoting casual sex in a healthy way to further and greater understanding of ourselves and how to relate to others. So, show up entirely as you are and contact with others and meet your needs and share a lust for playful, intimate connections.
So regardless of being a guy, a gal, non-binary, everyone's welcome.
So thank you again, Pure, for being the sponsor of today's episode. The link will be down below if you'd like to try them out. This message will now self-destruct. But what if you're not single and you actually have a partner that you haven't really gotten the chance to come out as kinky to yet? How do you have that conversation?
Well, hopefully your partner is into you already and thinks you're interesting. Your kinks make you even more interesting.
And it's how you bring it up to the table that's really important. Now, if you bring it to the table and you're like,
Don't judge me.
Not gonna end well.
They're gonna judge you.
Scene.
But if you present it in such a way as you get to explore these kinks with me, this can be fun. I want to involve you.
I'm about to give you an offer you can't refuse.
Oh my God.
You can because consent, but
No,
I am the
because of
most
handcuffs.
No. This is a job interview for your relationship. This is a selling point. This makes you not only interesting, but adventurous. All the other things we said previously. This is a positive. So get them on the same page and tell them how much they mean to you and that they get to do this with you because you feel so sexually attracted to them.
It also helps if you handcuff them to the chair so they can't. But you also don't know, they might be into it too.
So true. The number of people I have met in a relationship where they were like, I was so nervous to show my partner this, and now they are more up to date on the kink stuff and your content than I am, and they have sped past me, and now I'm the one that's not as kinky, which is kind of funny in a way.
Yeah, I've seen that a million times.
Sometimes you don't know what your partner's going through too, so this is where that communication, which Kinksters again are great at, not only helpful to your relationship, but might help you both in the long run to just express what you want and what you need in your life that you want to do in the bedroom.
And then if they're still hesitant and can't wrap their head around it, give them a little time to absorb the information.
Because if they've never done something kinky before, that's outside of their comfort level, and that's allowed. Being uncomfortable in these conversations is totally normal.
And it's brand new information, so they haven't had the time to process, so don't expect an immediate answer. And then if they're still not into it, don't force them into it. Talk about other ways you can explore that, perhaps with somebody else, but still be emotionally monogamous with them.
Being open is not a bad thing, and I think a lot of our culture kind of shows it in this negative light. But people actually have better relationships when they're able to open up sometimes too, if it's for you, of course. Don't force it, because that will end badly.
Yeah.
And hey, sometimes, if you're in a relationship and it doesn't work out, that's okay too. You're not always gonna match up perfectly with your partner, and if they want monogamy and you want kinks, but you're not,
And they don't want to provide it. I actually myself was in a 9-year kink discordant relationship where I was kinky, they were not, and I could not get them to come on board to let me explore it elsewhere or with them. And I was miserable. It was a miserable experience, and ultimately it didn't work out because of that.
It's not us. We're fine. Yeah,
He's kinky as fuck.
I had the same kinds of relationships like that too. They didn't last as long, but I came out of that learning that I need kinks and a little bit more adventurous sex in my life in order to have a fulfilling relationship. And since then, I've been very upfront about and communicated my wants and needs kind of from the get-go and let my relationships evolve from there. And since then, I've had 3 amazing relationships. The first 2, you're the third, ended very well. So nicely because we were able to communicate and talk and we had our kinks that we shared, but it just didn't work out, and that's okay. And now,
but go on.
I mean, we're great. We're great. And if your partner shows some interest, there are some really easy ways to get into kink.
The best one is show them the porn you like.
If you guys are into watching porn together or even just sharing sexy images or stories, do that. And then explain to them why you're into it or what parts you enjoy. It'll not only give you guys some fun time, hopefully, but will give you an insight into your partner and what makes them tick in such a way that really gets them going.
Try dressing your partner up in some fun gear.
Go to some sort of event, a bar event, a larger convention together.
Watch some fun sex-positive YouTube, like What's the Safeword?
Or podcast, or Twitch. We got all sorts of content. It's very accessible.
Show them this video.
Right now. Do it.
Do it. Handcuff them to a chair.
With consent. And lastly, just give them the facts and let them educate themselves if they want, but understand that partners that practice SM together have lower levels of stress, and closeness and intimacy is always going to be better.
Let them do the research on their own time.
Because knowledge is what?
Hard.
No. A lot of people, as we've talked about, have this fear that other people are going to find them and judge them because of the stigma that exists in our society.
Or out them to their family, friends, workplaces.
And in fact, I'm curious, did you, just as your own anecdote. Like, how did you come out, or did you ever feel stigmatized by people in your life?
I slowly came out. I knew at a very young age I was into bondage, but I had a hard time telling my friends that I was. But I found that it was easy to do. I started with my closest friends, and people treated you the way you treated yourself about it. So if you weren't ashamed of it and you just said it matter-of-factly, they're like, huh, okay. And if they like you, they don't care either.
At the end of the day, coming out as kinky can be hard. If it's your second coming out, especially like it was for us. Like, I came out as gay forever ago. I mean, I'm still working through some of it myself, being raised Catholic, so I totally get that. And I've come out as kinky, clearly, but not to everyone in my life. And that's just my choice. But why is coming out as kinky so hard?
I think because we grew up with religion and parents who have taught us a certain way to be, and that sex is, you have to be love and marriage. And you feel that shame for wanting something else.
We paint people that ask for what they want and need as being selfish, when in fact, they're just being honest with not only themselves, but other people, and we should celebrate that. We have so many obscenity laws and so much censorship around our bodies and sex.
And if you're happy and your partner's happy, your life is happy.
And that's all that's really important in a relationship.
And who cares what anyone else thinks?
Unless they're paying your bills. Pay them bitches no mind.
Now our society, sex is just everywhere. Where back in my day when Coke was a nickel, now with breakthrough stars like Madonna, Lil Nas X, who's that other one? Carly B. Cardi B?
Carly. And if they consent, you can absolutely whap them.
I did not consent.
Earlier you did.
Consent withdrawn.
Well, so now
I
you take
can
it back.
withdraw.
I didn't consent. With more and more resources being available, even 50 Shades of Grey being a terrible example of BDSM, pop culture took hold of that and made sex and kink a little bit more normalized.
There wasn't a soccer mom that came out of that didn't want to be spanked.
Soccer moms, leave those comments down below. Because the real goal of today's episode is to overcome shame and stigma, and that sometimes starts with just having a conversation. So I hope we dispelled some myths, I hope we educated today, I hope we provided you with a good conversation about coming out as kinky, because that's what we're here to do.
But if you have any questions, leave comments below, we're happy to answer them.
And leave a like if you enjoyed this episode, but don't forget to check out the Pure app if you're looking to mingle with some kinky people and looking for non-aggressive ways to come out as kinky to other people.
And if your kink is ringing bells, ring a bell.
But more than anything, always have a safe word, and today's safe word daddy is
Pure magic.
Because like today's sponsor Pure, which you should go check out, it's a magical opportunity to meet some new people and maybe make some good sexy connections.
Yeah.
And we will see y'all next time.
Bye!
Consent can be given and taken back.
I've taken it away twice.
I know, but can I have it again, please? Can I have your consent, please?
Yes.
One consent,
yes. Ow.
Wham, bam, thank you.
Sir. Sir is what you're looking for.
Sir, thank you, daddy. Thank you, daddy.
You're welcome.